So this last panel session is devoted to AI in education and in research. So of course, the questions are very vast. Be able to cover all of that. But we have three speakers in a very complementary panel here, speaking about very different aspects of the use of AI in education and research. And we'll start with Dagmar Monett, who is a professor at the Berlin School of Economics and Law. I've actually learned that this place exists, so thank you for that. Dagmar will be speaking in a critical way about the uncritical adoption of AI in academia. So the floor is yours, Dagmar.
Yeah, thank you. So indeed, it is since decades. And actually also in the Berlin School of Economics and Law, there is also a technical part of a faculty where computer science is there. So I teach computer science students. It's a pure computer science and not computer science applied or other systems. I will start reading the caption of this image. At whose expense do tech developments and tech companies thrive? The hands in the image suggest those whose lives and livelihood are impacted by AI, included but not limited to ghost workers, students, those suffering from abusive deepfakes and AI-generated scams, residents of areas impacted by data centers, those on the job market facing displacement by the promise of automation, and those seduced by the ELIZA effect of chatbots to make decisions that negatively impact their health and well-being. The water and wave imagery evokes the rising tide of AI hype, the AI bubble, as well as the environmental impacts of AI. There are a lot of people impacted by AI and in a negative way. There are millions of data workers online annotating, classifying, tagging images, texts, videos, etc., seeing from hour to hour violence in videos and also traumatizing themselves because of that, in order to, for us or in other countries, to have at least information that we can consume. There are millions of ghost workers behind that. Academia is also not exempt from these harms. These are only 4 examples. We have teachers now controlling whether there is plagiarism in the works produced by students, only checking if they did something. We have also others that allow to produce research papers only with 1 click, doing research between quotes for the researchers who should be the ones doing the research. We have also biases and also information polluting with AI slop of all kinds, textual images, etc., which is also used in research, where the question is, should we trust such a research, and so on. Actually, there are a lot of problems, and you have to be very skeptical when you hear AI is used in research because of a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons also depending on the anthropomorphism. That was something from yesterday. So we believe these products and we believe such apps, etc., do something that actually they don't do. And then we use that for making decisions, for coming to conclusions, or to some information we use in research, but actually we are dealing with something we cannot trust. Not only that, so in AI, there are a lot of different papers and information telling you be very skeptical about AI having any understanding, analysis of meaning, thinking, reasoning, or any other human cognitive ability. We have not that yet. We have not that since more than 70 years when the AI concept was coined. And actually it was a marketing term, which is still today a marketing term, and we don't have such understanding in machines. I tell you that also with the hat of an AI person doing research in AI for more than 36 years, and sometimes 37 this September, 37 years. So, and sometimes I think, well, okay, you can believe what they may be doing, but that is not actually what is happening. And it is very, very difficult to convince people, exactly like Weizenbaum in the years 1960s, when he was, actually surprised at how people believed in his, that time not called chatbot, but program that communicated with the user in a textual form, which was called ELISA. He called that ELISA. So the ELISA effect is actually thinking there is a person on the other side communicating with you, having emotions, having any meaning, etc. This is today, well, a massification of the ELISA effect is what we have with the chatbots of all kinds that already exist. There is also, and we need to be very skeptical when AI is used in education. The caption of this image, of this and other image, by the way, such images are, well, from a very, very beautiful project which leaders are based in UK, who pay artists to produce images that better explain what AI actually is and what is behind. Because when you Google AI and when you Google AI images, everything what you see, almost everything, is robots, androids, hands touching keyboards, and all the things we don't have. So a hype and anthropomorphism we don't need. So this project is commissioned artists to produce images that better explain what is behind. This one, for example, represents the interest of technology companies, including but not limited to AI, so any technology, in the data produced by students. Young students at computers with retinal scanners on their screens suggest the uptake not only of data entry, but also of biometric data. The representation of pixelation binary code and the data weight heat map at the top suggests the ways that students work and bodies are abstracted by the datification process. I was asked to present in this talk some of the last intentions to tell others, be skeptical about what is happening. And it started with, well, it didn't start, but specifically what I was called to present here, it started with an open letter sounding the alarm. And why it is important that academics sound the alarm. So this is from Eric Sadan, from his book Dissenting. I have the edition in Spanish. The first edition is in French. There is no edition in English, which I asked him, but they never ask back. And because of what I see, it is important that everybody also read not only this book, but others too. He has written, but one quote. So the role of the intellectual should, and I don't see now, please, because of WebEx, maybe I move. Oh, no, I can't move. Well, should consist not so much in instructing the masses to the point of pressing to them from the ivory tower, as in understanding the phenomena that are developing in order to sound the alarm with arguments and awareness when necessary. And I would add also sounding the alarm when the evidence doesn't tell you that what it is claimed is actually happening. And now? Yes. So the open letter, it was from colleagues from Netherlands, they co-authored this open letter, actually calling for a stop of the uncritical adoption of technologies, AI technologies in academia. After day by day being forced to use AI in their classroom, day by day being actually put out when they didn't want to use AI in their classroom. So dissent is not permitted at the university or any other school settings. And they wrote an open letter to the directors, deans, etc., of different universities in the Netherlands. Actually, I revised it, so I took a look this morning, and there are almost 1,500 signatures, not only from the Netherlands, but also from other countries. And the main, maybe put this here in this corner. So no, back. So back this way. So the main ideas is we should stop. We should stop actually, because AI is in everywhere. Mouth and plans of use in education or will from the universities and so on. We have to stop and ask, and this is also another paper of mine and with a colleague, and ask, are these technologies harming our students, other people, the planet, etc.? And if yes, if the answer is yes, then we need to take a look at whether actually it is something, or it should be something we should use in education with our students. And there are 5 main claims. So resisting this introduction of AI software in education. So we now have deployed in all universities Microsoft copilots, etc., without asking us. In all the programs, this stars and things of these companies forcing us also to use them, and also normalizing the AI hype, so that this is the thing that everybody is doing, that this is a thing of the future, that is what we should be doing, because in X years, short term, we will have then something new. So all the narrative of the of industry, and the open letters tells exactly, stop, that is not what is happening. This is hype, this is AI hype. Also critically thinking about using AI or not, and not after already AI was used. So before we use AI. But also academic freedom to select whether we want to use AI or not. And it is actually in some schools and universities somehow penalized when you use AI. But also banning AI in the classroom, where you need students learning what they should learn to do, like writing a paper. So if an AI writes something that is taken as output to do something else, they are not skilling themselves in writing scientifically. If they are summarizing papers, they are not summarizing papers. They are coding programs that, according to how much the information in that paper occurs, or according to statistics, gives you an output plausible text that it is taken as a summary, which is not, etc. Reading, etc. They don't read anymore. They only get the output from the chatbot, etc. So we need to analyze when the use of AI is appropriate, but when we need to ban that Also, like we banned plagiarism. Also, like we banning, paper mills, etc. It is not allowed. So it shouldn't be allowed using technologies that actually de-skill students or don't allow students to develop these skills. I will leave these 3 slides because I will share the slides later, but this is actually a little bit more information which is in the letter about these exactly 5 topics. Yeah. It didn't stop there, so we met together to write a paper where we abound about all those topics. And the paper was published, beginning of September. It already has more than 50,000 downloads, 82 views. This is from this morning. 18 authors, me included, 8 higher education institutions, and with title Against the Uncritical Adoption of AI in Academia. And I will summarize a couple of the topics from the paper, only a couple of them. Which is, I already told you that, a marketing phrase. So there is nothing artificial and there is nothing about intelligence in the artificial intelligence programs we have. In my research, I have found more than 500 different definitions of artificial intelligence and of intelligence in machines, in plants, etc. I reduced the scope to only machine intelligence and human intelligence, more than 500 definitions. It is not a term that has a precise definition. There is an impressive misuse of terminology in the field since its inception, 1950s. There is imprecise jargon. For example, machine learning, that's not learning like humans learn. So this is not only updates of different variables and coefficients, etc., plus 001, etc. That's not how humans learn. Artificial neural networks, that has nothing to do with how neural networks in our brains are. Actually, white matter in the brain is the big majority of matter we have in our brains, and nothing about that is actually known how it functions, and also not in the mathematical, statistically dependent neural networks we deal with. There is a lot of anthropomorphization. We tend to anthropomorphize since we are children with our teddy bears and we think they have powers, etc. But we have to be very cautious about what we are anthropomorphizing, and also the hype and ahistoricism. There is a lot of literature about all those topics, and we repeat again and again the same mistakes. Generative AI, for example, the last hyped technology in AI is actually a technical difference of something that is very good at calculating in parallel, at putting together syntactically reasonable texts. But not only text, so mixing pixels so that it is something new created between quotes, but it is actually nothing new in the sense that with that we will have artificial general intelligence or intelligence in machines. On the other side, the history of the term intelligence historically has a racist, sexist, classist, and ableist inheritance, unfortunately. And nothing about that is, of course, a topic when we talk about machine intelligence. Expertise. So sometimes, almost all the times, the expertise of experts, supposed experts in the field, is dismissed. It is only one subfield of AI which is getting all the different issue, media, money, investments, etc. And that is very, very sad for any developments in any field. So everything is going to generative AI. From yesterday, 1 trillion to OpenAI to build more data centers, etc. And the other subfields almost no development, almost no chance to develop. And that is actually very, very concerning in any field. Uncritical incorporation then in the classroom should be actually thing we must analyze. It is our responsibility. What education is? And it is not isolating students, not communicating with other humans, thinking about the problems that have not been solved yet, because everything what is in the chatbots, which is now the only thing, almost the only thing everybody wants to use, is data from the past. And no civilization has evolved with only data from the past. It is also from data, or from information or things or dreams, etc. They want to develop, realize, investigate, etc. from the future, imagined things and solving problems no one had solved before. So this information is not in the data. The information we need our students thinking, and how could that be solved? Nobody has an idea. Let's see if it is possible. And actually, that is how research goes. We don't look only to the past. We also imagine the future. And that's not something the chatbots can do. We have also a lot of critical washing coming from the companies, all the companies with ethics and this and that. And apparently, they are doing a great job. When you look behind that, we have a lot of unethical practices. And we should also reject dismantling the expertise and the humanization of scholars. It's more important when what the chatbot tells me, no, but maybe are not right, because this is what the chatbot is telling me. We should stop that. Other part of the paper, what we don't need. So embracing the future, because it is that what we need. AI is the future, etc. Why? So there is a no in the paper to, the rejection of imagining a different future than the one promoted by the companies. There is a no to rejecting the self-determination of universities, of researchers, free or autonomously, and not with the companies. There is a no to this narrative of AI inevitability. So it was also yesterday, and our kids will be using AI, hopefully not in this way, this AI, maybe others AI, but this AI, which is destroying the planet, destroying the livelihoods of many people behind, destroying the skills, or not permitting students to learn what they should learn. This is not an AI we should be using. Not to the skilling of students, I already told that. And it is actually because the problems go and get bigger with time, that it is already too late, but we must speak out now. And this is actually not activism. I am also trying to make people and money givers, etc., to put attention in other fields that will maybe help us define, and also from AI, define problems that have not been solved till now. But it is almost impossible. When you talk about other topics, no, because LLMs is now the thing with OpenAI, and they must be right because so many money. Well, burning 5 billion per year. Why, if you give such billions to universities to solve the structural, systemic problems they have, which have nothing to do with applying any technology or not? So there are 5 principles from the Code of Ethics for research from the Netherlands. This is from the paper, but also from the colleagues with the leading authors of this paper, which are actually very, very simple. So honesty, do not secretly use AI technologies without disclosure, and also not unfounded claims about presumed capabilities these products don't have. Scrupulousness, so very, very detailed use or the functionalities should be validated and in specific, in specific settings before coming to conclusions about what they cannot do. Transparency, so there are a lot of different technologies, settings, etc., that are not reproducible. So yes, we did this and that, but you cannot repeat that because next time the chatbots will give you something different. I say the chatbots because it is the number one application today with these large language models and any other combinations of that. Also independency, so independency of industry setting, which are the research goals, should be the research goals, the programs, and all the things we should use in the university settings, and also responsibility. So all those products are based on unethical practices, irresponsible practices. They won't be, so there is no responsible use of something that is unethical, that is not responsible. So there is a conflict there. We should then take that also into account. It is not a single action, this open letter, this paper. There are a lot of books. This is only 10. There are a lot of books about all those topics we are not taking a look at. Maybe, oh yes, this is a book, so I prefer in class 5 minutes, less than 5. I prefer my students discussing such books and what is artificial intelligence and not why should they use an LLM to talk about the damages, harms, etc. of AI. I give them books. We discuss that, for example. There are a lot of other different, open letters, papers, etc. These are cases of papers against this use in academia, against this, resisting this use in academia, also putting up front the role of universities in all that. So it is not a single thing. There are a lot of different initiatives worldwide. And for example, these are two I liked very much. So one conference about communal resistance of artificial systems, and this one, in a couple of weeks, if you want to participate, resisting generative AI and big tech in higher education. And actually, because, this is also a quote from the paper, we cannot reject that AI output is good enough. And that's sometimes what something companies need. So it is good enough, it is a solution I can up with, and that's not a problem if it is not perfect, but actually they are not perfect. There is a lot of what is called hallucinations. I don't like the term, but it is called hallucinations, and even OpenAI admits 30%, in some areas much more percent, according to if it is out of distribution information, full of hallucinations. So how can we have students trusting something they are not experts in determining this is true, this is false? They are learning to discern, and however they are accepting and they are thinking that it is true, the outputs, and that will be much more complicated to unlearn everything what they have learned till now. So there is intrinsic and inherent value in thinking for ourselves and not letting some software program syntactically generate something we think it is our thinking, which is not. This is one example also. I'm almost finished. I will read the caption. Bounding boxes are commonly used in AI research to signify where a computer vision algorithm has detected an object in an image. Here, the artist had played with the aesthetic. The bounding boxes are 3D printed frames positioned in the physical environment around objects. In this case, there is a physical banana and a photo of a banana on the screen, but the object detection algorithm doesn't make a difference between these two. It also has no idea how this banana tastes, for example. And yeah, we are trusting programs that cannot differentiate between the two. So this other is the last one. This image shows a portrait of a simulated middle-aged white woman against a black background. The scene is refracted in different ways by a fragmented glass grid. This grid is a visual metaphor for the way that artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies can be used to simulate and reflect the human experience in an unexpected way. A distorted neural network diagram is overlaid, familiarizing the viewer with the formal architecture of AI systems. And actually, this is what we are also letting our students have distorted images of reality, to think they are learning something that we should be very, very skeptical about. So that's the last one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dagmar.